Coming up on this episode of the Hitstreak.
We can't make this about us. We've got to surround ourselves with the right people, or something could happen at any moment, and we can't scale this. So that's where, fast forward to today, it's like, yeah, now I get to travel and speak. My wife gets to travel with me, and the office could still grow and impact people without us having to be there.
Hi folks, Nick Hyder here, and I want to tell you about one membership and two lifelines. Smiles for Recovery has partnered with Dollars with the Heart to fuel a global endowment system, fighting hunger and restoring smiles through life-changing dental care. When you join, you're not just getting entertainment. You're unlocking a members-only platform where every dollar you spend helps feed families and restore smiles for people in recovery. Your one-time $65.99 membership gives you a unique member ID, access to private entertainment, and a guaranteed place in line for free dental services through Smiles for Recovery. Every time our community reaches 2.5 million members, 1,000 full dental care awards go to members outside of recovery. You can keep it or you can gift it. Plus, thanks to Struggle Jennings, you'll also receive a limited edition t-shirt, a brand new song, and long-term complimentary benefits, a lasting way to make a difference. Join at smilesforrecovery.info with code SMILES. You can meet the team at smilesforrecovery.org. Folks, let's feed families and restore smiles together. Dentists, when a member outside of recovery needs treatment, you can sponsor them. Once they are approved, Smiles for Recovery covers the full cost through this partnership. Membership supports endowments, not insurance. Dental awards subject to approval and availability.
Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. So if you've clawed your way up, if you've built something out of nothing, if you've got a story that people need to hear, folks, this is your shot. The Hitstreak isn't just a podcast. It's a platform not just for top performers, it's also a platform that takes real stories from underdogs, builders, and dreamers, and it puts them on the map. Your story, your brand, your breakthrough. Apply now to be a guest. We'll put you in front of millions of viewers worldwide. You'll get pro-level content, high-level exposure, and a seat at the table with people who've been there and made it out. I'm not only looking for polished top performers. I'm looking for real stories from real people. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Apply now. This is your moment. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I am your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, I got an extra special treat joining me in the Hit Lab today. Check it out. It is actually his third time as a guest right here on the Hitstreak. Folks, he is the co-founder of the Music City Health Center. He is the host of the Mindset Doctor podcast. He is a two-time TEDx keynote speaker, transformation coach, co-founder. Dr. Justin Mosley is in the building. Doc, how we doing?
Doing great. Glad to be back in the Hit Lab on the Hitstreak podcast, and excited to have you back on my show again. So I always love our conversations, and we're taking a different direction today. So I'm excited about that.
We are. So your first episode was kind of all about your journey into keynote speaking.
Yep.
Right. Your first TED talk. Second time around, it was like all the evolution of everything that all the traction you'd made in the market. Yep. Doing those. Your second TEDx talk that was I believe you were going to do right when we filmed the last one.
Yeah, we were about to do it right when we filmed it. Yeah.
And then you and I had some coffee not long ago. And I was telling you about the movement of viral videos on social media involving chiropractors.
Yeah. You're like, I saw this move on TikTok, and I was like, hey, I do that. You're like, I need that.
Bro, it's like, it opened up so much to Rhiannon and I was like, dude, I need to bring you back in to talk about this, because like hundreds of millions of people are watching chiropractors do these things to folks. And the crazy thing is like these chiropractors saying like, this person drove 1,000 miles for this adjustment. Yeah. And I'm like, so you drove past, 200,000 chiropractors to go to that one. Why in the world would you do that? I drove an hour to get to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I drove an hour to get to you. So, all right. So, but before we go there, you're known as the mindset doctor. All right. But when I came to get you, we came out to some motley crew today because after I came to see you, I was like, no, he's Dr. Feelgood.
That's right. Yeah. Because for years, you didn't know me as the chiropractor. I obviously was a chiropractor, but it wasn't until we actually talked about it. And then you came to see me, got to actually experience it. And it was different because you've been adjusted before. But that was something different for sure.
Well, it was, like for a couple decades, Doc, I was there was always these things that just bothered me, like aches and pains or just nagging little like pulls in your back or something like that, and I could never quite get it. I could get temporary relief, but it was always a short-term solution for a long-term problem.
Right.
So it never really worked out. And I just happened to mention to you, I was like, dude, do you know anybody that does these moves that I was showing you on, I think it was Facebook Reels? And you were like, well, I do, Nick.
Yep.
And I was like, well, then we need to come to see you.
Right.
As a matter of fact, we need to come back to see you because it's been a minute. But all right, so let's tell people what we're kind of talking about here. So, because we've been sending a lot of videos back and forth. All right, some that were serious and some that were kind of humorous. However, the videos were real. All right, so. Yep. We're talking about there's videos of people doing where they're pulling people's heads. Like there's one, I think it's in China, where they put people in this traction unit, and then there's like a wheel that he cranks, and it literally lifts them off the ground. Right. What the hell is that?
And it does traction out the spine, but there's better ways to do that. And even around here in Nashville, there's a lot of decompression clinics. Like if you really have a disc issue, decompression is really good for that. They just have a really unorthodox way of doing it. It hoists you in the air, pulling your neck up, but it is a form of decompression and it does work.
So like, sometimes and with the people that were adjusting me in the past, sometimes I might ask about a move and they would always tell me why they didn't like to do that move. So there's obviously, I guess anytime you're manipulating a spine, there's always a little risk.
Right.
To a certain degree, maybe.
Yeah, you've definitely got to be trained because some people want to watch the TikTok videos like, oh, I can do that at home. And you can actually hurt people if you don't know what you're doing.
And one of the, you hear a lot of times the adjuster, the chiropractor will look at the patient and say, they'll grab their head and move them around a little bit. They're like, you pop your own neck.
Yeah.
How do y'all know that?
Well, you can become hypermobile. So yeah, it's all about the ligaments, the muscles around the neck. So you can feel for somebody who just does it themselves and does it way too much.
And there's one of the the more famous ones, the one that they call it the magic hug, I think, but it's the one that you did to Rhiannon and I.
Yeah. The bear hug, the magic hug, but yeah, and it for you really had to reset the ribs because you have some rib heads that were out for sure. And yeah, that's a powerful adjustment too, just to get everything moving.
It like when Rhiannon, when it happened to her, she literally it released like tears and stuff. Like she almost started crying.
Yeah, and we notice that a lot. You can have an emotional response because it's affecting the nervous system, and the nervous system stores past trauma and emotions and different things as well. So things can come up as you start to clear the nervous system out and kind of reset the nervous system. Yeah, we've had emotional responses. We've had sometimes people go home get the best sleep of their life just because you're trying to reset that nervous system.
So let's hang there for a minute because this is like when you first started talking about some of these things, it was the first time I'd ever heard it. Okay. So I'm going to tell my story for a minute. So I remember in college as a catcher, there was always this little spot on my left side that a lot of times during the games, it was usually when I was sleep deprived or maybe I'd had too much caffeine, that spot would bother me. And I'd literally get somebody to take their elbow and just jam it in there. And then I'd run back out on the field and finish playing, just get in there and it would just give me some relief. It would hurt so bad that it felt good, Yeah. And then even all the in the pro ball and everything else, that was always the spot, even doing just sit-ups or something, that was the spot, I'm doing abs, yet it was what felt like my neck that was bothering me when it was really my back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then in pro ball was the first time I'd ever had a muscle spasm. And then it put me on the the disabled list.
Right.
And I can remember them digging in, and that was when I learned that the source, or what was hurting, wasn't the source of the problem. Yep. It hardly ever is. And that was the first time I'd ever really somebody had popped my back intentionally, and I was like, "What was that?"
Right.
Like that was life changing, and how do I get more? And then the first time somebody took my released my neck, I was like, whoa. I was scared to death though.
Right.
That first time, it's real scary, having somebody jerk you around. But like, so you say these things about your nervous system, and when I'm framing this question, it's taking forever, but I'm gonna get there. My grandmother, who, as we're sitting here today recording this, we're actually having a memorial for her this Friday, where she recently passed. But when she was, when I was a younger kid, she was extremely intelligent. We would have called, in the old days, we would have called her a hippie, because she liked natural solutions, all the things that we're really studying and getting serious about now. She was kind of talking about 30 years ago. Yeah. And she used to go to the chiropractor, but the chiropractor back then was the witch doctor.
Right. Yep.
It wasn't modern medicine.
That's right.
Well, look at how far we've come.
Yeah. Come a long way. Absolutely. Yeah. And especially this movement now, like you got Robert Kennedy Jr., who's going in with his Make America Healthy Again. Like there's a whole movement of people wanting to be healthier, from take the chemicals that we have out of our food to just people are waking up to, man, we got to live pretty unhealthy over here in this country. And chiropractic happens to be one of the things that helps get people healthy.
Well, it's, your body's meant to move, first of all. And so I actually, I don't think a lot of folks actually know that pop that happens. Like literally when I was a kid, we were told if you pop your knuckles, you're going to be paralyzed in your fingers. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
So, but then I remember it was probably 10 or 15 years ago, it was like an X-ray video where they showed the little air pocket, and when the adjustment happened, the air pocket was gone.
Yeah. That's all it is a release of air. So just like you hear when you pop your knuckles, that's just air releasing. It's gas that's in the joint that releases. And the same thing with your neck. Like when you get your neck adjustment, that's all it is. It's just air coming out of the joint. A lot of times it freaks people out because it's loud, because it's right there by your ears. So sometimes it can be really loud, but there's really nothing to that. It's just air coming out of the joint. Where the power is actually getting pressure off the nervous system itself. Because when you go to a neurologically focused chiropractor, what we're doing is we're inputting signals into the brain to reset that nervous system. So that's what we're looking to do, is because the nervous system is controlling every function of our body. And right now, that's been a big trend in social media, is nervous system regulation. So people doing like deep breathing and cold plunges and things to regulate their nervous system, which all those are great. Yeah. But when there's actually misalignments in the spine, it starts with dyskinesia, which is improper movement, leads to disafferentation, the signals to the brain. And then that leads to dysautonomia, affecting the nervous system. And the nervous system is controlling everything in your body, from your immune system, your digestive system, your reproductive system, hormonal system. Everything's controlled by the nervous system. So by getting adjusted by a neurologically focused chiropractor, along with doing the other things to regulate your nervous system, the body just starts working better. The body starts to heal and function at a higher level.
Yeah. It's so how does the air get in? How does the gas get in there? Like, where does it come from? Because it takes up space, right? That's what you don't understand, is it takes up space. You can feel it.
Yeah. And they're called synovial joints. So the same things in the knuckles, they're all along the spine as well. So, I mean, there's joints like that all everywhere. That's why sometimes your knees pop or your shoulders pop. That's all just gas within a joint capsule. And then when that air releases, it takes time and it just fills back up. And that's why you can't pop your knuckles over and over at the same time, because it takes time for that gas to actually get back into the joint.
Got it. So that's why a lot of times if you're getting treatments, it's good to go on like kind of like a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. So regular basis, because like take you're an athlete for years. There are certain things, your muscles are structured a certain way. You start to develop patterns. So it takes time to break those patterns. And then we want to retrain the muscles and ligaments to hold the correct position. So it does take time and repetition to do that.
Well, it's just so fascinating, because in like the last, 30 years, the view of chiropractic care has just totally done a 180.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and for us too, we have a focus. We see a lot of pediatrics, so kids with ADHD, anxiety, all the way to autism, people on the spectrum, and sensory processing disorder. Because what we do, and we've got technology in our office that does these scans that tells how their nervous system actually responds to stress.
Mm-hmm. And
when we can actually get the pressure off of the nervous system and get that regulated, then their body's able to calm naturally. So instead of the parents it get to the point where I don't know what to do. I don't want to put them on meds and just kind of drug them out. So what do I do? So when we can regulate their nervous system, they no longer need the medication, and they start to process, and they start to do better in school, and they start to get better grades, and they're not getting in trouble at home. So we see a lot of kids for that right now, because unfortunately, man, it's just getting worse and worse. The amount of ADHD from kids early, just being on the phone, and all the sensory stuff we have now that we didn't have growing up. Like growing up, we had maybe the Game Boy, and even at first it was just black and white. Now they have tablets and all these things that are getting their attention, and it's overstimulating their nervous system, and it's leading to a lot of complications.
Let's stay with the nervous system for a minute. You said something, like Rhiannon was functioning fine when she had that adjustment that literally she was a different person. All right. I was my patience level is if on a scale of 1 to 10, before you adjusted me was probably about a 1. Right. After it was like, it was probably a 7 or an 8.
Right.
But then as time went, those pockets started filling up. My patience, I was. Right. You mentioned how it was a part of your nervous system, and like you said something with Rhiannon, Rhiannon was in fight or flight mode or something like that.
Yep. So when we go into fight or flight, and a lot of times, so it's kind of like RPMs on the car. When the RPMs get up to like 3,000 RPMs and 4,000, it stresses the engine. A lot of times in our bodies, we don't realize it because we're not stressed. Like maybe we're having a good day, but it's the little things that build up. Somebody cut me off in traffic. This happened over here. My son didn't put gas in the Jeep. Whatever the things, they just start to add up. And then all of a sudden it just tips you over the edge when it sends you into that fight or flight. It sends you to overdrive. And fight or flight, that's a natural response. Like we're born, and that's a good thing. If a bear came into this room right now, our bodies go into fight or flight because either we need to run or we got to fight for our lives right now. And that's just a biological response that we have. And a good analogy is a fire alarm. If the fire alarm went off right now, our fight or flight would kick in to hey, let's get out of danger. But the problem is when the fire alarm goes off, we should go back to normal. Blood pressure should go back down because fight or flight, that's what happened. Blood pressure goes up. The blood rushes to our extremities. We don't need to digest food or have sex when we're in fight or flight mode. So sex drive goes down, digestion goes down, blood pressure goes up. All these things happen because you're preparing to fight or flee. But when the fire alarm goes off, we should go back to normal. The problem is we're so overstimulated, people get stuck in fight or flight. They never go back to normal. So they're walking around day to day feeling fine, but their sex drive is low, their digestion's off, the hormones are off. All these things are off because they're still stuck in fight or flight, even when the stress has gone away. So by regulating the nervous system, they get out of that fight or flight. And the other opposite, it goes from fight or fight. They call it feed or breed. Because then when you're relaxed in that relaxed state, that's when your body can actually digest food, reproduce, have sex. All the good things that we enjoy in life is when we're out of that fight or flight mode.
Got it. Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hitstreak. If you have not already, subscribe to the Hitstreak on all digital platforms. Share your favorite episodes with your friends, your team, literally whoever needs a lift. We've built a worldwide audience of millions, and we're just getting started. Every episode, we're breaking down the playbook of top performers so that you can get to that next level too. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. So again, thank you for being a part of this movement. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hitstreak. One of the things that I learned the first time that I had a back spasm is my neck was stiff. So I thought it was a neck problem.
Right.
And it was explained to me that, well, Nick, everything's connected, right? So the problem that you're feeling is is in your back, but your neck is trying to help compensate for that problem, and it spasmed out because basically it just said, I'm done, I'm tired, I gave you all I had.
Yeah.
I'm checking out, and it tightened up on me, and that's what caused the spasm. But by fixing the problem in the back, it fixed the problem in the neck.
Yeah, or vice versa, because it does all work together. Now, from the front, our spine should be straight, but from the side, we actually have 3 curves: one in the neck, one in the mid back going the other way, and then a curve in the low back. And those curves are actually supposed to take the force of gravity and push the force out.
Like distribute it.
Yeah, distribute. It's kind of like a bridge. Bridges are curved, and then the support wires are actually there to get the force out so they can withstand a lot of pressure.
Got it.
What happens is we start to lose those curves. Whether big one's the curve in the neck, because now we're spending all the time looking down at our phones and just in this position a lot, and we lose that curve, and it takes that stress from the head, and the head weighs 8 to 10 pounds, and it pushes that weight into the lower back and then all the way down. So that lower back can actually spasm up. So it could be a neck issue, and then correcting that can take pressure off the low back, or vice versa. The low back could be affecting the neck.
Well, it's all right. And it's amazing how it's amazing how it changes like your total perspective on just everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you get that adjustment and you're free for that moment, like it's just like, and you just take that deep breath.
Right. Yeah.
The colors get brighter. Like I'm serious.
You said that afterwards. Yeah. And that's the thing, is the nervous system is what's affected. And that's where that's why nervous system regulation or dysregulation, the down regulation of the nervous system, are so popular right now on Instagram, TikTok, because of how it affects your body. And a lot of times where you don't even realize it. And that's why people feel better after doing a cold plunge. They feel better after doing some deep breathing exercises. But the same thing happens with the right chiropractic adjustments that influence the nervous system. You get long-term change in the nervous system, not just those quick in the moment. I was doing a breathing exercise and I felt better. You can actually, it's called neuroplasticity. The nerves that fire together wire together. So if you continue to put the correct inputs into the nervous system, you get long-term change.
And how important is, like, so I always feel like after I get the right adjustment, I can move better. I can rotate. I can do certain things. How important is it to, like, when I need an adjustment going out to work out, it's like that 10 minutes of just getting ready to work out is like the worst part of my day. Like it just sucks so bad. Once I get the blood flow and I'm warmed up, I'm good.
Right. Yeah.
But God, it's horrible, Justin. Like,
Yeah. You got to stay moving. And that's for anybody right now, especially if you're listening to this and you sit all day, because they say sitting is the new smoking, because what it does to your body, all the muscles start to tighten up. Because we were talking before we aired, you went from 20 plus years of swinging the bat and just staying active, getting ready for sports, to then it all just stopped. And you go into business mode and doing those things. So definitely, if you're listening to this, stay active, get moving. And even if it's just first thing, so here, especially for the men listening, it's very common because as we sleep, our discs in our spine dry out. So it's very common for men to wake up, their back is stiff, they lean over to shave or brush their teeth, and they can blow a disc out because there's no motion in the spine.
it's always drying my hair off. You know what I'm saying?
So whatever that motion is. So the first thing you can do in the morning is sit up on the side of the bed and just doing some motion, side to side, twisting, kind of going forward and backward just to get the spine moving. You'll notice a big difference just from that, because one, it'll loosen the muscles. It'll actually lubricate the discs. Because the discs, they don't have their very much blood supply themselves. They have to have the movement that actually hydrates the disc.
So all that stuff I've been seeing online about lubricating your spine is real.
It is. You got to lube it up.
I love it, man. I love it. So, all right. Well, let's shift the conversation for a minute. Okay. So, you know, if this may be a bad way to compare, but I'm going to try it. So if you're a teacher, okay, what does one actually, if you say I'm a teacher, what does one actually know about what you do? They don't know what grade or level you teach at. They don't know what subject you teach. They don't know anything.
A lot of different ones.
Yeah. So how many versions of a chiropractor are there out there?
Yeah, good question, because they're all different. And the good thing is there's a lot of techniques out there and they all work.
Okay.
So the best thing to do is to find a chiropractor that is a specialist in what they do. because I mean, it's that saying, a jack of all trades is a master of none.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in chiropractic. If somebody just tries all these different things, but never really becomes a master in their craft, they're not really good. They're doing a disservice to the people they're caring for. Like, I want somebody who masters what they do.
You know, if you go to like, you know, a doctor or something like that, and they're not going to let you leave until they have a resolution.
Right.
I've been to chiropractors where I go in and it's almost like they just give up. It's like, well, I couldn't move you, so, you know, sorry.
Yeah.
But then I still have to pay them when I leave.
Right.
I'm going to leave in the same way type thing. So,
yeah.
Are there I mean, there's literally walk-in clinics. I mean, like, and I've had to do those before, and it's the same. It feels like it's the same. I've been to a lot of different chiropractors, and I've had some people that I love. However, I got to say, a lot of it feels like whether I'm going from one to the next, the biggest difference is the personality of the person and not the treatment that I get.
Right.
It's the same 3 or 4 moves.
Yeah.
You know, with the feet, your hips, you know, the back, and they move your neck a couple different directions, and then boom, you're out. And it's the exact same, no matter what you do or what I say is wrong, it's the same treatment every single time until I came to see you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've only seen a piece of what we do in our clinic too. Cause yeah, you mentioned too, like Nick and I were having coffee months ago, and he was like, man, I saw this move. Do you know anybody who does it? And I was like, yeah, I do that. So he came out and we did that. But even in our clinic, like, we're very big on the neurological scans, looking at how the nervous system is performing. That's what shows, like, how are you actually improving? Because what gets measured gets managed. Not just come in, let me adjust some things here and there, and I'll see you next time. We want to make sure there's progress along the way, and not just feeling better. We want to make sure you're functioning better too. And that's where looking at HRV, looking at your nervous system, looking at what all's being impacted, how are you responding to stress? That's one of the best indications and how we predict the progress of care.
Diet matters a lot in this stuff. I didn't realize that either.
Yeah,
like, as
absolutely.
I get older, if my wife and kids leave Krispy Kreme donuts unsupervised and I get to them, I wake up the next day and everything hurts. All my joints hurt.
Yeah, because sugar is a big source of inflammation. And what people don't realize, a lot of stuff that we eat, even the healthy stuff, turns to sugar in our bodies. So it's being careful of, okay, how much sugar. We have a lack of water intake these days. A lot of people just drinking caffeine and sugary drinks a lot, but just hydrating, staying away from the sugar, especially late at night, but then moving. It all works together. You got to move and feed your body with the proper fuel.
So if I was hiring a teacher, I would hire a teacher based on a lot of different credentials. Okay. Yep. How does one find the right chiropractor?
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking at too. So again, you want somebody who is a master at what they do. So like,
how do you know that?
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
So one is look them up. And that goes back to, I mean, you and I, we know Brand Builders. We were part of that group and know them. They did this nationwide study, and they said, what's the number one profession that people want to have a personal brand? And it was their doctor was the number one. Because they want to know, like, no matter what doctor they're going to, like, who is this person?
Yeah.
You know, what are they going to recommend to me? They want to see a personal brand. So I recommend that for people. Look them up. Like, look at their socials. Look at their website. What do they do? And at first, it's just off gut feeling. Like, if it's a generic website, you don't see anything about who's there and who's going to be taking care of you, probably not the place to go. So one, just go by the gut feeling. Okay, what is their brand? Does it resonate with who I am and what I'm looking for? And then what are you looking for? If it is somebody who just blew a disc out, don't come to us. There's people that specialize in just discs that are going to put you on the decompression table. That's going to be what you need in that season.
Yeah.
But for us, if you're looking for neurologically focused chiropractic, that's what we are the best at. And that's what you'll see it all over our socials. We've got articles, we've got videos. And I think that's what really separates us is the amount of education we put out for people. So they're pre-educated before they even come in. Yeah. So I would look for that when you're trying to look for a chiropractor.
This has been going on for a year. I've been, no matter how many times I go get massage or adjusted, within 7 to 10 days, if it takes that long, the same problem is back. just
Right.
maybe not as bad, and then over time it just gets worse and worse and worse, right? And I always feel it the most when it's time to just move for the first time, like get ready to work out or get ready to play around the golf or just get ready to go to the bathroom, after getting out of bed in the morning. Yeah. Heat seems to help a lot, but I started seeing these. I just started doing research, like, how do I get rid of this thing? Like, what is it? What's going on? I mean, because I had people that were doing dry needle stuff. I had a crazy massage. I had people jumping up and down on me, traction, everything.
Yeah.
And it was like, but there's this move that, that people were driving 2,000 miles to go have done. And then I'm like, well, how do I find somebody in this town that does it? And it's like, well, nobody really markets, I do this specific move or this, if I specialize in if I'm a dietitian, I probably have something that makes my dietitian practice different than else. And that's what I'm going to go at it with type thing. So I wanted to educate people on, like, you don't have to, I mean, gosh, man, they probably drove past 5,000 chiropractors to get to that one.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people don't put that out because it does turn some people away.
Okay.
Like some of those videos, like thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people will watch those videos and like, I want that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people that would come to that person's clinic, like, that scares me. I'm not going there.
That's fair.
So that's kind of their balance of like, maybe I don't put that out because I don't want that mom who's going to bring their kid in. Like, are they going to do that to my kid? Like they kind of freaks them out. So I think there is a balance because one, if you don't let people know what you do, then you're not going to do business with them. So you got to put yourself out there and talk about what you do. But then you also got to look at your audience too and say, what do they want? And how do I focus what I put out to actually attract more of who I want?
Some chiropractors, I mentioned, so we were in Florida for a baseball tournament. I'm sleeping, we're at an Airbnb, so the bed's just killing me, right? The bed's killing me. Didn't have my pillow, so I'm pretty miserable by day 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Rihanna's like, hey, there's whatever this national chain is of walk-in where you can just go on in there. It's like, $40 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're in there for 15 minutes. They're like, what's going on? And I tell them everything, and they do the exact same thing I knew they were going to do, whether I ask questions or not.
Right.
But they couldn't get any movement out of it. And they were just like, well, see you later.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. Well, nothing happened. Like, you just pulled and yanked on me, but like nothing changed.
Yeah.
And they were going to send me on my way. And if I hadn't stopped and said, hey, man, is there anybody else? It was a tiny young lady. And she just couldn't manipulate me.
Right.
I was too big and too stiff, and don't do it, Jensen. Don't do it. But they couldn't move it. And they were just going to send me along my way, and the problem was still there. And luckily, there was a gentleman in the back who came out and was able to apply more pressure, and it happened. But so there's those type of clinics. There's your type of clinic, which is focused on neurological. Some clinics won't even touch you before they x-ray you and do all these other things. How can when you're looking at 5 chiropractic clinics, how can you tell the difference between one or the other? Like, is the walk-in clinic, does it serve a purpose?
It can, like if you're in an emergency situation, like they have some of those in airports now sometimes. And like, if you set in the plane wrong and you just feel bad, then maybe that's okay. The problem is a lot of times, and even knowing some of these people in the profession, they don't have experience. That's why they're in that role. Yeah. And that's the problem though, is then you get somebody who can't move you. But I would look for, so one, going back to the brand, look them up, look at their social media. But then I would go, when you go in their office, you want to go somewhere that's busy. Just like a restaurant. There could be a restaurant right here that's packed and it's a 30-minute wait, and somebody across the street, there's no wait, you can get right in. Well, there's a reason why there's no wait across the street. And why is nobody going there? I'll take my chances and I'll wait an extra 30 minutes.
That's right.
To have the better restaurant in this case. Same thing with chiropractic. Like if it's a busy, booming practice, they must be doing something right. Look at their reviews, look at their social media, and even if it's busy in there and you got to wait a little bit longer, they must be doing something right.
Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Podcast production, CRM systems, content strategy, data analytics, branding, it's all under one roof. Because in today's world, content without strategy, it's just noise. And you're here to make an impact. So if you're ready to launch smarter, grow faster, and create with a purpose, it's time to team up with the Hit Lab. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the Hit Lab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation. You know, some practices will do a lot of things to help create that movement. Like, you know, one of the things that you did is you had this awesome Theragun where you would go through and apply some pressure and get some blood moving and move some things around so that you could make that adjustment. Some people, not everybody does that.
Right, yeah.
I've seen some, I mean, I don't know if it's a different style or like there's a lady in Texas that like it's a combination of full body from head to toe pops with... She's scraping. She's doing the scraping stuff to bring. So what does scraping do? It makes everything real red. She does the cups. Yeah. Like she does a little bit of everything. It's pretty solid. I mean, she's got to be spending an hour with each person.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody's got different techniques and they all work, which is the cool thing. And a lot of the scraping and the cupping, that's bringing the blood flow to the surface. So it depends on what's going on. Like that could be something good for you because you have that muscular issue that goes on as well. So that could be. Have you ever done the cupping?
No. And ironically, we bought some at the house just to have, and they're still in the box.
Yeah. Because that could be something that's really helpful because it does help get the muscles to relax and then it brings the blood flow to the surface. So
I've noticed that like even like when as a young man, as a young athlete, my back always we always thought I had dry skin and my back always itched. Yeah. Well, it turns out the spots that were itching the worst were that we scratched were always the places that I had the most issues.
Yeah.
With movement, like a lot of times, like the scratching when you're seeing that and it gets real red, you're bringing that up.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like it feels like it's exfoliating it a little bit.
Right, and that's the areas to get adjusted too, because a lot of times the nerve roots that go through that area can be affected. It can affect the skin. It can go. Those nerve roots go internally too. It can affect your breathing, your digestion, a lot of different things that are affected by those nerve roots.
What are so there's we've talked about scraping. We've talked about the cups. There's another guy that's real focused locally that is all about. I wouldn't say he makes adjustments, but he's not considered a chiropractor. I guess he's more of a, I don't know, what would he, sports therapist maybe? Like he does a lot of dry needle stuff.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot in. That's the cool thing about it is people can get their own focus, like kind of like dentistry. Some people are just pediatric kids. I want to see kids for their teeth. If you're an adult, don't come here. That's kind of their thing. Same thing with them. There's some that are more like sports focused. There's some that like, hey, I just want to work with high performance athletes, and they do a lot of muscle work and different things. So without knowing specifically what he does, I have a feeling that's what he's focusing more on is the muscles themselves.
You're such a branding expert. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm calling it, but I think that one of the things you're gonna be asked to talk about a lot is how to market. Again, think about all the specialties that these folks can have. And quite honestly, I think 99 out of 100 of them are just doing a horrible job of marketing what it is that is their specialty. For sure, yeah. And like I said before, look up their brand. And a lot of them are going to have like the generic, like look like a Canva template on their feed. Yeah. There's no adjusting. There's no video of the doc talking about show you're an expert. Like in anything, we've talked about that on your past shows. Like branding is so important. We all have a personal brand, whether you have a business or not, you have a personal brand. You are the brand. So showcase what you do. And if somebody doesn't have a brand, like that's a red flag to me. So it's funny. As we're sitting here, I'm going to just show Jensen this. He's off camera and we won't be able to see his face, but Jensen, there's some crazy, I want you to, let's see this, watch this. And there's no sound on it, I don't think. Yeah. That's a chiropractor right there. It's one of the ones you sent me. Yeah, Jensen's face. What is he? So what's happening right there, Justin? That's a tailbone adjustment.
Tailbone. So yeah, you can actually go kind of inside and pull the tailbone. So it's like right we'll just say the butthole here. He's going right above it, and you're kind of getting your finger. I think he's got a glove on, but you put your finger right underneath the coccyx, was the tip of the tailbone, and you can actually pull it up, and it's got a joint just like our fingers do, and you can actually adjust that tailbone.
So Jensen's volunteered to step up, and
I sent that one to Nick. I said, I'm not doing that one. So if that's one you want, don't come here.
Well, it's that one. The one that was there's another one too that isn't as humorous, but it's the one with there's like at first started seeing it where a guy would get looked like a protractor or like a tool in math, and he would put it on your head, lay down on the side, and put it on the side like right below your ear. He'd measure something, and he'd put that to the side, and then he'd put his thumb and he'd do this weird little twist, and it was like, it didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like it, but it actually does. And it's just the torque. So what he's doing is measuring the angle that the atlas, the top bone, and it's a very important bone. It sits at the base of your skull and it surrounds the brainstem. So if it gets off, and it can rotate different ways, it can be twisted. So what he's actually doing is untorquing that to get it to realign. And it's just, again, I do it a different way, the way I do it, versus there's a lot of other chiropractors all can do the same thing in a different way.
Got it.
And that just happens to be his technique. And he probably does have a successful practice because he became a master in that.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is what I do. If you got muscle stuff going on, don't come to me. This is what I specialize in.
And is there do you guys have like a network of where it's like, hey man, this is that what you're talking about, go see him, he's a specialist type thing? Is there like a secret club we don't know about?
Now, a lot of times the people that do the same things, kind of like in any industry, you kind of gravitate to the people that do the same stuff you do. And you kind of trade secrets and say, hey, what's working for you? Where did you learn this technique? How can I learn more, get better? We kind of gravitate to the same people, but then we also learn what we don't want either. So we do, it's like for us, like if a friend of mine blew his disc out, I was like, yeah, there's a guy down the road. Here's who I would go to for that. So
yeah, I would want to know who you would go to, right? Oh, I'd go to Courtney,
right?
Or
yeah.
I'd go down the road.
And that's definitely a plus, being married to a chiropractor. My wife gets to adjust me, and we travel a lot, so she adjusts me in the airport too. And like, it's definitely a win.
So if you want to know how often you should actually get adjusted, we're gonna find out right now, because you got to be married to one, because it's
yeah.
So all right. So how often do you two work on each other, like for real?
I'd say at least once a week, because we are bending and we travel a lot and we sit in airport seats, and even just right now driving, like we're in weird positions, so our bodies do get off. So once a week at least I'm getting adjusted.
Wow.
Sometimes twice.
Got it. That's when I'm the healthiest, that's usually what I'm doing too. It's again, like, so when you want the specialist, the best at anything is the one that like is the most detailed. It can do the most in the smallest. The little things are the big things, I guess what I'm describing. It's all in the details.
Yeah.
And but like what you were describing, like right underneath that ear, like I've been to thousands. I've had thousands of adjustments, and you're the only one that ever could touch that. And
right.
And it was, I mean, dude, it was probably 20 years worth of. Since I remember the last time that it popped, I had like raised up and hit my head real hard, and it sent that shock all the way down your spine. I was like, oh wow, that felt great. Like, you know.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the last time that it happened. And that had been, and it's funny, when I was younger, like a teenager and stuff, I would always move around and do certain things, and it would feel like that heat sensation all the way down. And I was like, I didn't know what that was, but it always felt good afterwards.
Right.
When I'd, bump something or fall or, jump off a trampoline and land a certain way, it's like beating up your body, but it would force movement.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things, like people say, can I just adjust myself? And like things you can actually realign stuff. Like maybe you fall and hit your head, or you move a certain way, can actually realign it.
Yeah.
Problem is when people try to do it themselves, they can actually move themselves in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, is like definitely get a trained professional to help you. But there's a lot of things that we do. We move certain ways, and we're like, oh, I actually just got relief from that. There is a lot of self-adjustment you can do, but it's for the ones that, like, when you get stuck in those patterns that you need a break, that's when you definitely need a trained professional to help you through that.
Well, it's crazy fascinating. I mean, there's dry needles, there's scraping, there's massaging, there's guns, there's traction, there's so many different tools, and everybody just needs to figure out. I would say everybody needs to try them all.
Right. Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. And that's where you do want somebody who's a master, but you can be master in multiple things. That's like when you came to us, like I am trained in a lot of stuff that I got good at. But a lot of people just, I tried this. I'll use that every couple years. I'll do this one thing on this person and I'll try this. I haven't used this in like 5 years. I'll do that. Like you can never get good at something just using it every once in a while. But if you get trained on multiple techniques, because then like you were mentioning earlier, where it's like you weren't getting the relief you needed.
Yeah.
Well, that's when that chiropractor needs to go into his tool bag and say, what else can I use to get him relief? That's where somebody trained in multiple techniques is really going to help.
I usually try, if I can, to either sit in a hot tub or get a real hot shower before I go, so everything's kind of moving around a little bit. Yeah. Or in a perfect world, I'm driving straight from a massage to get adjusted.
Yep, those definitely a good combo because it relaxes all the muscles and ligaments, allows it to go really well.
Man, so I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful place in Hendersonville. I guess it's in Hendersonville or Gallatin. Hendersonville, like it's absolutely spectacular in there. How can we get a massage therapist to go next door?
And we got a good friend that owns the Salt Med Spa over there, so we send a lot of people to get massages over there. They've got a salt room. You can just chill and just breathe in the salt air. There's a lot of health benefits to that, so it's a good combo with that and chiropractic. All
right, well, so we're gonna shift on to some other things. Honestly, I've been dying to talk about that because it's been something it's real. I want to do, I can't wait to see you shoot I want to see a lot of content around this. Yeah. I'd love to see a podcast with the owner of that spa.
Yeah.
And how you guys can work together. Cause I think there's a guy, Dr. John Elson in Nolensville, who's a previous guest, a phenomenal human being, super smart. He focuses a lot on movement and such. That he needs a spa,
right?
He needs a spa in his network. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, they all need those. But all right, so a couple things. We got to talk about your TED Talk. First things first. You look different. You got a new haircut.
Yeah, shave the head off. Shave my head. So I was thinking about it. So it's back in April. My wife and I went on vacation. We were going to be on the beach for a week. I was getting to that point because I'm on stage a lot, got the lighting. I'm like, it's starting to thin a little bit. I'm like, I want to shave it now to see what it looks like because I can grow it back right now because I'm going to get to that point where I'm not going to have an option.
Gotcha.
So I was like, well, I'm going to be me and my wife are away for a week. So at least I'll try it now. And she turned out to really like it. So I just kept it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you find out real quick how good looking you are when you do that.
Yeah, it's hey, you can only go one way or the other. So I was like, yep. Because then it's like, okay, if it doesn't look good, okay, what are my options now? So
that's right. Well, honestly, I never noticed anything. I saw one day that I saw a picture your head was shaved, and I was like, dang, man, I wish I could do that. Like as I was literally drying my hair today, which it's a blessing. I'm not
right. You got a good head of hair, so
I love my hair, but again, it's 20 minutes a day, to make it look like this,
right?
And some really expensive shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah,
and you just got a real good lotion now.
That's right. Yeah, lotion it up. I'm good.
Was it like crazy pale white when you shaved it at first, or did it actually have some color?
I had a little bit, I think, because I was already driving my Jeep all summer, so I think it was some sun was getting through there, and then just being at the beach that week, I got sun on it really quick. So
did it burn?
It did not, because that was one of the pieces of advice I got from a lot of people that had shaved it. They were like, just don't get burnt. So yeah, I was able to avoid it.
Are you ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. We're more than just a one-size-fits-all payment processor. We're relationship-driven. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Join a network that values transparency, efficiency, and growth. With our state-of-the-art POS systems and competitive processing rates, you can offer your clients the best in payment technology while boosting your own profitability. Why choose Processing First? innovative solutions, stay ahead with our advanced payment processing tools, dedicated support. Our team is here to assist you every step of the way. Lucrative opportunities. Enhance your income by providing top-tier services to your clients. Don't settle for less. Partner with Processing First and take your business to the next level. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners. You know, if I went on vacation and I didn't trim up my stuff, I have a really low hairline. So like where I'm touching on my head right now, this is all, there's hair right there.
Yeah.
Just not right. Just not today.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all messed. We fixed the hairline for a reason. But in 2017, when we first started growing out longer for the first time in life, and that was gone, dude, the first time it got sunburned, bro, it was hell.
Yeah.
It was a different sunburn than I'd had any other time, because it was like the first time that had been exposed to the sun in all these years. So I mean, it was like, I can't describe how, like, just basically just grazing up against it, it felt like it was just a razor blade cutting through it, man.
Well,
it was
I
nuts.
knew there must be something to it, because multiple people reached out and was like, that's the biggest thing, just don't let it get burnt.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, it ruins your day.
Wow. Yeah.
It ruined your day. But it looks great. You're lucky for you. You have a beautifully shaped head.
I appreciate it. Yeah. As my wife said, hey, you got a good shaped head.
Yeah, dude. I buzzed Jordan Baker. He would have something to say about this, because our senior year in college, we were all going to shave our heads, right? Well, yep. I did a 2 on the top and a 1 on the sides, and they all just went no guard, right?
Yeah.
So they said I didn't shave my head, but that was that was really short. 2 is really short.
Oh yeah, that is short. Yep.
It was really short, and but that was the last time. But I don't have as good of a shaped head. It's more like an egg.
Like an egg. But you got the hair to make up for it. So
That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. So let's talk about that second TED Talk. Congratulations, dude. It just hit 1 million views again on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not all the platforms, just YouTube.
Just YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. It's very exciting.
YouTube's hard to crack. I don't have $1 million video on YouTube, and you got at least 2 of them I know of.
Yeah. So it was one of those things that, especially this last one, it's like I knew it was going to hit 1 million views, because this was just a God thing. Mm-hmm. Because I did my first one back in 2022. I was offered to do it in 2023, and I turned it down. I was just like, I'm not ready. I don't know what I want to share. Mm-hmm. So I actually spent that year and then 2024 praying about, like, God, what do you want me to share? Mm. And so that's why it was just such a God thing. And it came from after the success of the first talk, and I started speaking everywhere, and then people were seeing content, and they would reach out and they were like, man, I love what you're doing. It just comes so naturally to you, but I wish I could speak, but I'm just terrified. Mm-hmm. And I was telling everybody over and over, I was terrified. Like, I'm not some natural speaker. For most of my life, I had a tremendous fear of public speaking. And because I was telling that same story over and over, when people were reaching out, like, God just showed me, he's like, that's your story you have to share. Because so many people are struggling with the fear of public speaking. They're never overcoming it. So the story that they have is trapped inside. And I believe everybody's got a message to share. And that was my whole goal, is to encourage people to share their message with the world. And because of that, I think giving myself the space to just pray about it and just seek God, he's just blessed it.
Well, it's again, your first one, we always say around here that was the one that broke the internet. And then the second one, it was like, yeah, I mean, and it's still climbing, I guess.
Yeah, still growing, a couple thousand views a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And dude, those TEDx, it's a lot of bang in a short amount of time. How long are those things? 15 minutes?
Yeah, you have a max, so you can go up to 18. I think I aired on the lower side, so I think it was mine around 11 minutes or so.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Dude, if you go over, like, you get penalized. They don't even put it up on YouTube. So I'm like, I'm not chancing that at all.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it's always different. So like when you do a TEDx, it's a beautiful, you got the red circle.
Red circle, yeah.
All right, kind of reminds me of the rhyme a little bit.
Yep,
You got the red circle, a beautiful set. What are you looking at? How many people, when you do those TEDx talks, how many people are usually in the audience? Do you have confidence, like a confidence monitor for your slides? And do you have a timer?
Yeah, so definitely a timer. And each one's different. They have different TEDx's around the country, but they do have an audience. I think we had around 150 people in the audience.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. And then, got a confidence monitor as well. What you don't see, and I'm actually going to share some content on this, is the slides kept messing up. There were some other people doing their TED Talk that day, and because the clicker wouldn't go, they got rocked in the middle of their TED Talk, which is one of their biggest moments, and it just doesn't work. And a lot of people didn't even recover. The rest of their speech, they were just off, and just it was emotional and it was tough for me. And so Jim Morris was there. He drove up to see my TED Talk, and he was like, "You were the only one." He's like, right after it did it to me, I had to step back and just. Okay, I had to compose myself, and he was like, "Dude, you just shifted into the zone. You could see, okay, boom, we're off." And then he's like, "You just stepped in and like just channeled this energy, and like I didn't let it phase me at all." And so that's the behind the scenes. What you don't see, you see the edited version where everything just flowed naturally, but what you don't see is nope. All right, clicker's not working. Okay, what's going on here?
Wow.
And then boom, they got it going again, and then boom, just step right back in it.
How'd they edit the folks that like when it quit working, like how long are we talking here?
It was just maybe a minute, but it seems like an eternity when you're on the stage and then like this timer's still going. You're like, okay, what's going on here? But yeah, for some people, especially because a lot of people don't have experience speaking, sometimes it's like Mel Robbins, actually the Mel Robbins, who gets like $150K to speak now. She shares her story on YouTube about her first TEDx talk was her very first time speaking in public ever.
Holy cow.
And she said, if you watch it, you can see my hives that are coming up on my neck. And so she shares that experience. She's like, I had no experience speaking. I was just sharing an idea. And what's funny with hers, she's like, I didn't know how to end my speech. So I randomly just said, I have this thing that I do that's called the 5-second rule. And she explained that. And that became this viral sensation and became a book for her. And it just went viral. But yeah, a lot of people don't have the experience. So when something happens that doesn't go as planned, they just get rocked.
So the first one, the thesis or the message in your first one versus the second, what's the biggest two?
So the first one, that I shared before on your podcast was my near-death experience. Yeah. So the first one was lessons that I had learned from my near-death experience. And then that's where my message from exchange your comfort for your calling came from. And then this last one was how I overcame my fear of public speaking. So there's anybody, again, I believe everybody's got a message to share, but if you want to actually get out there and share your message, I think it's got something for you because I shared how I overcame my fear. My fear went all the way back to second grade. The first time I remember having to speak in front of the class and just getting made fun of and all these things that I just anchored into my mind. You're not a speaker. You shouldn't do this. And then fast forward into college, almost had a panic attack during a speech. And again, anchored in even further, you're not a speaker. This isn't for you. But if I never would have overcame that fear, I never would have been able to make the impact. I never would have met you, be on this podcast. Like so many opportunities I would have never had I not overcame that fear. So I think that's the heart behind this message is I want people to overcome their fear because so much opportunity is on the other side of that fear. What
are some of your secrets to get comfortable doing it? Like how do you practice? How do you rehearse? Is there a place you do it? Is there how many times do you do it? What are some tricks of the trade?
And what's funny, which I haven't, and I need to make content on this. I was actually thinking about it. My wife and I were just in South Carolina visiting her family, and I wrote my TED Talk in one day, and I think it was about 2 weeks before the talk.
Wow.
But what happened, it just flowed out of me. Like I knew what I wanted to talk about, and I knew kind of the stories I wanted to share, but it wasn't until her cousin, kind of my wife's cousin, lives behind her, and I was just riding a bike up and down. There was a cornfield beside me, and it was just like, man, it was just like a peaceful area, and it's like God just downloaded the message to me. And so for me, like all I did was boom, the message came in one day, and then I just rehearsed it a few times. And that, back to your question about being comfortable, I think it's the repetition of it. That's what makes you comfortable. What people are uncomfortable because they forget what they're going to say because they haven't practiced it enough. If you say it over and over, and that goes back to my first talk, people ask like, were you nervous? And I could really say I wasn't, because I had practiced it so many times in my head. By the time I got up there, it was just like another time that I was practicing it.
Yeah.
Because I just owned it. And I think too many people just get up there and wing it without actually knowing their material, knowing what they're going to say. So I think that's the biggest thing is, man, just know what you're going to say before you have to get up there and say it.
It's, you know, a lot of folks that say they don't like watching themselves. You know, I get that. But like, how do you get better?
Right. Yeah. It's like game tape. It's like in sports, people watch game tape to say, no, I should have went this way and I went that way. I can change that next time. Same thing in speaking. And if you ever watch yourself and you're like, I don't like the sound of my voice, that's normal. Like a lot of people, famous people are like, I hate the sound of my voice, because what, you know, you listen to it like, do I actually sound like that? It's because we hear ourselves differently within our own head. The sounds are going off these different parts of our skull. So we hear something different than what people hear us as. So then when we hear it, we're like, that's not how I sound. So it sounds off to us. But just know, everybody thinks that. So everybody's like, yeah, I don't know about my voice. Or when you watch yourself though, and I got this from Rory Vaden, he talked about like, watch yourself with the sound off. Like, watch what you're doing, like your gestures and things like that. So watch it with the sound off, watch it without looking at it, just listening to it, and then just watch it in different ways as if it is a game tape. And then okay, I didn't like that, I can do this better, and just practice those things. And as the more you practice them, the better you're going to get at it.
The playback is so powerful. Doing stuff with so much stuff with Sirius XM. I'm way better after I've heard it back.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah. I can tweak this and do that.
There's a certain tone they're wanting, and I realize that, like, you know, sometimes in inflection when you go up versus going down, it's a difference between a question versus a statement. You know.
So a question for you then. So how did you get the alternative? Like, I can't do what you do. Like, how did you be like, okay, that's it right there? Like when you switch into the radio voice. Yeah.
So a long time ago, in my first job in the bar business, there was a Heath Minier. He great guy, and he was DJing that night. And it was the first time I'd ever heard him DJ. And he opened his mouth, and I was like, that sounds way different, and that's way cool.
Ah, yeah.
And even like watching like the movie That Thing You Do, when they go on the radio tour and you hear all the radio DJs, and growing up in the music business, performers and people had like a certain way of speaking.
Right.
And you're always trying to capture the emotion of a station or a set or a song or whatever it may be. So the alternative came from, it's like, I've always done a lot of voice stuff. As a kid, I could do like all, you know, Kermit the Frog and Elmo, and you just learn how to do impressions.
Right.
And it's a muscle, and you can just mess with it. So like, even with the, like, the alternative, you just kind of pinch your throat a little bit and go all the way down from like your ass. And it's like, y'all alternative on Sirius XM, you know, and it's, but it's funny because on Southern Rock, they want a totally different sound. When I do that station, they wanted more of the podcast, this natural type of vibe. And then when I did stuff for Willie's Roadhouse, that was a totally different, that they wanted more country. You know, they wanted a little bit like that twang.
Nice.
That Southern twang. So the inflection, but the coolest thing is Larry Witt at Sirius XM, he produces all my sessions. And he's so great because he knows what they're really looking for. Yeah. And he makes sure that, like, because again, they could find somebody else and replace old Nick pretty quick if they wanted to, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And Larry is so great for me because he protects the whole thing, because he'll like, hey, you know, like on this one, go slow down a little bit and let's go up at the end. You know, they want more of a question, you know, versus it sounded like a statement because you went down, versus the color is blue or the color's blue.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it gives you good direction on that.
Absolutely. You know, so it's been, from experience, it's been great. But just like anything else, covering events on red carpets, and there's a certain way. Bob Uecker, the late great Bob Uecker, it was so cool. The longtime broadcaster for the Brewers, he was on Mr. Belvedere in the 80s, like hysterical guy. Yeah. He was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and he did a bit where he was using his broadcaster voice, and you can actually see his breath work You can actually see how technically sound he was with his breathing.
Yep.
To be able to deliver it in the way that he did it. It was so cool because you see him taking these big breaths at certain timed intervals in what he's talking. And that was like, I like just watching that, I noticed that. I'm like, dang, like these are what these people know that everybody else just doesn't know.
Right. And just like you could watch him and pick up different techniques, that's the same thing you can do for yourself when you watch it back. Like, no, I did this here. This was really good. I need to do more of that. Or, nope, that wasn't so good. Let me take that out. Or a lot of people realize, okay, for big one for people is that I say or the filler words.
Yeah.
So the more you see that, you're like, okay, I need to cut that out. Or it could be the way you do your hand gestures or something that you repeat over and over that's actually a distraction. So you'll pick those things up and then also ask for feedback. Get other people to be like, hey, that's the hardest. Like if you're not ready for it and people are like, yeah, that wasn't so good. You got to be able to take that and actually have be able to take constructive criticism. But yeah, if you are able to do that, you can learn from it and you can get better for sure.
Hey, pardon this quick interruption, but it's a good one. You're listening to this ad right now, which means someone else could be listening to your ad in this exact spot. That's right. If you've got a business, a brand, a product, a podcast, or even just a message you want people to hear, you should be advertising right here on the Hitstreak. This is the moment, the placement, the audience, and you're already hearing how powerful it is. So don't just listen to ads, run one. Go to nickhyder.com/contact-me or click the link in the show notes to get started. Let's put your brand in the spotlight right where it belongs. When you get real secure with yourself, you actually seek that constructive criticism because you want to be the best and you want to get better. Yeah. I remember when I first started the podcast, we've always asked every guest, like, what, as a host, what can I do better? In the beginning, I'd be lying if I didn't say I was a little bit defensive with what I'd hear back, because I gave it my all and it was the best it could be. And then I found out that I actually didn't do a lot of things right, know?
Yeah.
But man, when you take that and you use it, and then it's like, and then you see the polished version on the other side, and you're like, wow, thank God they gave me that information.
Right.
So now it's like, how can I get more and how can I get it faster?
Yeah. And you did a combination of both. So one, just getting in the reps. You've done a ton of episodes over the years, but then you also did the reps and looked at how to get better. Some people just do the reps and they do the reps the wrong way over and over, and they anchor in the wrong way and they don't actually get better from it. So it's not just putting in the reps. Yeah. It's putting in the reps and tweaking it and continuing to get better.
And it's I'm extremely comfortable in the studio. I like just, it's a great day every day. I love it.
Yeah.
I walk in excited, but I'd be lying if sometimes I didn't get asked to speak in front of, and crowds don't bother me. Yes. What bothers me is something that I'm not comfortable that I can just roll off the cuff, right? Where I have to really, it's a little bit different. That's when I find myself creating this pressure that really doesn't exist.
Right.
And then it usually turns into me just going, all right, again, what am I here to do? Who am I here to do it for? And I just need to, they brought me here to be myself. So like, I got to get into the same way that I feel talking to you right now. Before I go talk in front of, literally as we're sitting here today, I did a virtual one last week and there was a couple thousand people on it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Awesome.
It was really cool. And, in that moment, it was like right before it happened, I just had to go to that place that, like, we'll call it my happy place,
Right.
And that happy place where it was like, okay, it's not about me, it's about them. So all I got to do is just make sure that little exercise I do in my head where I take whatever question it is or whatever I'm talking about and aim the solution at them.
Right.
And, versus are they going to like it? Is it going to hit? Because again, when you're comfortable and you can feed off people, how long to pause. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different every time. You feed off the audience a little bit.
For sure, yeah. And you hit something there too, because that's one of my points for my TED Talk. How I overcame my fear of public speaking was shifting it to what's in it for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what you're big about now. It's like you're not saying, okay, I want them to come away saying, look how good Nick Hyder is. Mm-hmm. Like, no, it's like, that guy gave me something that I can actually apply to my life.
Yeah.
And when you focus on what's in it for them, you take the focus off of you. It's like for me before, it was like, they're going to judge me. What if they don't like the sound of my voice or my haircut at the time when I had hair? All the things that I would go through my head were about me instead of, they don't care about any of that.
There
They're
it
just
is.
like, what's in it for me? I want to get something from the speaker. So as a speaker, if you just show up and just say, what can I deliver that can make an impact in their life? That's what it's all about.
That's it. That's it, man. Well, like Justin, let's talk about, as we're sitting here today. It's still kind of warm outside. However, it's changing. And when this sucker comes out, we're going to be getting close to the wrap of old 2025 and looking at 2026. I'm extremely excited for 2026. New studio space will be opened up, and a couple new ventures, and there's some stuff I've been working on for like a year and a half. Is we're finally crossing that finish line, and we get to start talking about it and showing people what it is. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what 2026 is looking like for you guys, because like, again, you got the clinic, you got you've been on the road a lot, speaking a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so there's the clinic, you got that. What's some other stuff you're really looking to take on in 2026, including your like right now the big your signature keynote right now is exchange your comfort for your calling, right? So talk to me about all that stuff.
Yeah, and I think we talked about that over coffee, is just kind of the shift. So my wife and I, we started our clinic back in 2012, and then 2018, 2018 is where I had my near-death accident. It kind of shifted stuff for me. And then 2020 is kind of where I went all into my personal brand. January 2020, and I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just like, man, God's called me to go bigger and help more people. So I just started putting myself out there, and it kind of took off, and it led to more speaking and doing mastermind retreats and different things. And I loved it. Like, this is awesome what we're doing. And then the TED Talk took off last year. And then last year I ended up doing 42 speaking engagements.
Damn.
Yeah. And a lot of them where I was traveling week to week. Sometimes I was in 3 different cities in 1 week.
Yeah.
And it wore on me for sure. So
Did you like to travel?
It was hit or miss, because at first it was like, I made it. Like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for a season, yes, but I wouldn't want to do it long term. And now we've got to know speakers that is their life. And it's like, man, I don't want that life.
That's right.
So I kind of shifted it for me back to, okay, how can I use the brand and what I've created to not have to be on the road? Like, I can do stuff now. Like, I shoot content for our clinic that helps people locally, and I don't have to go travel. And that's one of the big things that I want to give people that are listening when it comes to, like, you don't have to be a speaker. Like Nick, he was here in the comfort of his own studio and spoke to 2,000 people. He didn't have to travel somewhere to do that.
That's right.
But it doesn't have to be 2,000 people. It could be, I had to travel to Wilmington, Delaware. Yeah, it was a TED Talk, but there was 150 people in the audience. You guys right now could pick up your phone and talk to 150 people right now in the comfort of your own home.
That's right.
So you have the ability to, you have a platform, pick up your phone and start talking. So start there. But that's where, for me, it was just a big shift of, you know what, like, this is cool. I'm able to make an impact all over doing this. And again, going back to praying about it, God showed me, he was like, I can continue to open these doors and you can continue to do this, or I can open doors here locally and you can use your brand, your influence for your clinic. And because before I was thinking it was either or, like, you have to do one or the other. So I kind of didn't do anything for the clinic because I was just on the road all the time, just staying busy. And now it's like, no, it's kind of both. And I can say no to a lot more on the road and just say yes to the stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
But then also focus on the clinic and helping my wife run that. And that's been a big blessing. So I think moving forward, it's really, okay, how can we scale the clinic, help more people? We have an amazing team, continue to train them and help them grow and add more team members as well. But there's a lot more impact we can make through our clinic. That's going to be a lot of my focus moving forward right now.
I mean, we're talking about the Music City Health Center. I mean, it's spectacular in there. Like, it doesn't feel like a doctor's office at all.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's amazing. You guys just did a lot of renovation in there.
Yeah. We were painting the walls. I think the same weekend you guys came up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's in a beautiful, like, just the area it's in, the retail center that it's in. I mean, dude, it's spectacular. And I just, honestly, man, the thing that blows me away the most about you and Courtney is how the business grew while you were out doing the other stuff. Like, that's one of the hardest things for me to do, is for one of my companies to grow if I'm not running it.
Yeah, and that's the hardest for most people. And I think it came back to, and especially as chiropractors, because a lot of times it's so personality driven. Like somebody can build a brand, but it's all about them. Same thing within our profession. But a couple things happened. One is I blew my shoulder out back in like 2015 to the point because we were adjusting a lot of people, helping people, and I would adjust. My shoulder would go out the back. I would pop it back in and I would keep going.
Oh, no. Oh,
yeah. So typical guys like, man, I got people to help. You're not stopping me. And it got to the point I couldn't even lift my arm up. So, and then about the same time, like my wife's one of the most healthiest people I know. She never would get sick. And then all of a sudden she got sick for 10 days. So about the same time. So I was like, okay, I can't lift my arm. She's getting sick for 10 days. Like if something happens to both of us, our whole business goes away. So that was a mindset shift for us in that moment of like, we can't make this about us. We've got to surround ourselves with the right people or something could happen at any moment and we can't scale this. So that's where, fast forward to today, it's like, yeah, now I get to travel and speak. My wife gets to travel with me and the office could still grow and impact people without us having to be there.
It's one of the hardest things to do as a business owner is build a business that doesn't have to pay you.
Right. Yeah, that's a mindset shift too. I mean, the E-Myth, that was written years ago, but that's what it's all about. The E-Myth is we become entrepreneurs because we want to not have a job. We want to make our own rules and do our own thing, but we just create another job for ourselves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's breaking that mindset to know how can I become a owner versus an operator.
Man. Well, that is that's a problem. That's a problem that ain't never going away.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the reason you create the business in the first place is to do something that you love, but to be able to pay yourself. Right.
For sure. Yeah.
And it is, man. There's that gap of, paying other people and maybe removing yourself from payroll to where you're owner a profit share only type thing,
right?
Equity share only or something like that. That, in my opinion, at least that's the hardest thing for me to do is remove myself from the business. Because I love them and I love all of them and I want to be a part of all of them. It's so hard. It's funny. I'm letting my son's 16. He just started driving, like we were talking about that earlier. And it's, I'm learning to let go.
Yeah.
So I've always used real life moments and applied them to what we're going through in business. So I'm letting, us letting go a little bit of Ethan a little bit. And I'm learning to do that in business as well. And it's as stressful and as crazy it is, it's also like, it wasn't that bad.
That's true too. Yeah. And it goes back to, we both got to interview Dan Martell and he had the book, Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah.
And it's not buy back your time so you can go sit on a beach somewhere and not do what you love. It could be, for most people, they're so consumed with their business, they can't do the things that they love.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I put the right people in my business so then I can do what I love the most in the business?
Right. All right. So as we kind of bring this episode to a close, I mentioned your podcast, top rated podcast, The Mindset Doctor.
Yeah.
What's the future of that sucker? How many episodes have you done of that thing? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't even know now, but the thing with that is just meeting cool people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to interview you again for the third time. So you're going to be the first person that's been on there 3 times. So yeah, it's just, and that's been a relationship builder and it's led to lots of opportunity, business opportunity and different things. But really it's the heart behind that is just having cool conversations with cool people.
Yeah, man. It's a unbelievable networking tool. And, but it also gives authority and credibility, like big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Well, Justin, is there anything else as we bring this sucker to a close here? Anything like what did we miss? Did we cover it all? There was so many ways I wanted to go.
Yeah, no, it's just celebrating because you had me on right before I did this last TED Talk and now hitting 1 million views. So
it's insane.
Excited to celebrate that. You're the first podcast I've been on since it crossed the 1 million mark.
Wow,
so,
dude.
Yeah.
Again, and I'm still working on YouTube. Come on, man, where you at? I'm still working on that first $1 million video.
Yeah.
Especially one that's not, a short.
Right. Yeah. Those are hard. Yeah. Hard to get people to actually sit there and pay attention for longer than a few minutes.
Absolutely. So they can find both of your TED Talks on YouTube.
On YouTube. Yep. Just put Justin Mosley TED Talk and it'll come up.
Boom. And both of them, they're phenomenal. And when you put them both together, it's about the most powerful half hour
There you go.
You know what I mean? So
I appreciate that.
It's pretty incredible. You got to listen to the first one and then the second one in that order. Like, they flow really good.
Yeah.
They flow really, really good. So, well, dude, like, congratulations on everything. Like, I'm serious with this chiropractor marketing thing, man.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, like, watching people get adjusted in the pops, and they hear the chiropractor be like, "Oh, you're crunchy,"
Right?
All that kind of stuff. So, like, but you see, I don't know. It's just, I think it's incredibly fascinating. Maybe it's because I struggle with it every day,
Right?
But a lot of people do.
Yeah. And like you said, there's opportunity there. And that's what you've talked about with branding all along. It's like, where is the opportunity?
Yeah, that's right. Finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. So whether you're looking for individual coverage, family plans, or even Medicare options, Team Hyder brings expert guidance with heart. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve. Well, dude, it's always a good day when I get to see you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I know that we got a lot of fun stuff coming up, prayer breakfasts and everything else, and all kinds of great stuff. Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on, but folks, check him out online at drjustinmosley.com and musiccityhealthcenter.com, and on socials at Dr. Justin Mosley and at Music City Health Center, right? So, Dr. Justin, as always, dude, thanks for taking the time and hanging out with us today, and I look forward to that tailbone adjustment.
I don't know about all that, but yeah, always good. Thanks for having me back.
Folks, once again, co-founder of the Music City Health Center, transformation coach, two-time TEDx speaker, and host of the Mindset Doctor podcast, Dr. Justin Mosley, or as I like to call him, old Dr. Feelgood, right?
That's right.
So, well, folks, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hitstreak. I am your man, Nick Hyder. God bless.